Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading, in particular, mystery reading number 670. Before getting into this reading, chances are most of the people watching this video are not subscribed, so if you are a reoccurring viewer, you enjoy my work and would like to help support the growth of my channel, feel free to do so by sticking around, hitting that subscribe button down below, and ringing the notification bell next to it so you don't miss an upload. My current goal is 500 subscribers so I can have access to offering channel memberships, so if you do decide to subscribe and support me, thank you very much. So as with every reading that I record or do, I'm going to start with interpreting the number 670. I just yawned a little bit, so someone here could be feeling a little tired. Honestly, maybe a little exhausted, and that could be a sign here that you need to rest. But 670 brings the energies of unconditional love, especially for yourself, maybe acceptance. I also feel it's related to, well, the number 6 is related to the devil, but like in a tarot card interpretation type of way. That represents unhealthy attachments, codependencies, addictions that need to be released or that you need to free yourself from. I want to say as well that the number 3 might be significant for somebody, because with the number 7, for me, that number is pretty much always about wisdom, awareness, learning, growing, and the best way, or most of the time that happens, is through healing. And lastly, with the 0, there is a cycle here that's coming to an end, or that you are definitely being encouraged to put to an end, repeating patterns. I feel like for someone as well, pattern recognition could be significant. If it's easy for you to pick up on patterns or themes, it should be easy for you to communicate with the universe, your spirit guides, to understand symbolism, numerology, those types of things. But pattern recognition could be significant for a different reason. I'm also being reminded that that could either work for you or against you. So if you do see a pattern and it causes you fear, like in terms of like messaging from the universe and your spirit guides, take a deeper look at that fear and try to really understand if this pattern is anything to be concerned about, or if you are misinterpreting signs or messages. And, with an ending, there is a beginning. So either you're starting something new, or you will start something new. The general idea here is change. So I do feel like you're being guided to embrace that in one way or another, maybe many different ways. I also feel called to, like, before I start drawing a card, I feel called to talk about how I looked at the bottom of the deck and wow, I saw the King of Swords. I'm also feeling the Knight of Swords might be significant. But I just looked at the bottom of the deck again, and it's the 4 of Swords in reverse that says static, plateau, stuck, upright, recharge, rest, time to pause. Well, in reverse it also says need for new perspective. So maybe the change here is more about the way that you think, or the way that you look at something or yourself. I'm getting distracted by looking at these birds hopping around on the ground outside. And I feel that your ancestors might want, like, your ancestors might somehow be connected to birds. For me personally, it can be a sign of a spiritual presence, especially of an ancestor. And I just saw 4, 5, 6, which is a sign to trust that everything happens for a reason. So for somebody, you could have an ancestor or specific ancestors around you, and they want to make their presence known to you for a reason. I just got a sign of 1911, or a vision, I mean, and that number is confirming that there is an ancestor present with somebody that, came from a different country. They traveled to the current country that you are living in. So this could be very distant ancestors, or it could literally be your grandmother. Just, and even if, take it however it resonates, and if it doesn't resonate, that's fine too. Also, I kind of got a little bit fixated, or I focused on these glasses, which says April 8th, 2024. If you don't remember, that was when the solar eclipse happened, so maybe that could be a significant event for somebody. And now I just put those glasses back on my windowsill, and when I did, I heard either sinistra or finestra. One is Spanish, one is Italian. So maybe you have Spanish or Italian ancestors, or very generally speaking, this ancestor spoke a different language than you do. But let's go ahead and get into the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot now. We're going to start off with one of these cards to see what energies, signs, messages want to come through for you. I feel like I'm definitely picking up on a lot of energy, because it felt like the visions, the things that I'm hearing, it was, back to back to back. So I have the Justice card, which literally says, new perspectives, think through decisions, search for truth. New perspectives is interesting, because the 4 of Swords that I saw said a need for a new perspective. So it's very clear here that this change is more internal. This transformation is more internal. You may be feeling guided or drawn to the idea of learning to control your thoughts or your mind, your beliefs, your perspectives. I don't know if you can hear the TV in the background, but that could be a sign or confirmation of a distraction for someone. Something is preventing you from changing your perspective. It could be your own stubbornness, the influence of others around you. It's probably going to be different for everybody. But this Justice card also has the number 11 on it. And in numerology, that comes down to a number 2, which is all about balance. And it's, further reinforcing this message that there is something here that you need to let go, that you need to move on. But also, I am being reminded of the number 7. So remember that there is something to learn, something to gain. And it's probably going to be more intellectual or emotional, but it doesn't make it any less valuable than if it were a material type of gain. Justice in general is really all about balancing the scales, fairness, cause and effect, karma. Remember that you control your luck. Of course, not every little thing we have control over, what comes our way, but most of the time it seems that we do. So recognize your power and the responsibility that you play in the kind of life or future relationships, jobs, etc. that you have, the types of situations that you put yourself in. Perhaps it could be time for you to really be more fair to yourself right now and put what you deserve first, whether, and this isn't just like the relationships that you have with other people, this is also about the relationship that you have with yourself. And I'm being reminded that in yesterday's reading there was a message about how first and foremost, the relationship that you have with yourself comes first before any other relationship outside of you. So don't be afraid to put yourself first. Obviously, if you have your responsibilities, you kind of have to work around that. But if you have the power, the ability, don't be afraid to put yourself first. And I just saw 122 and then 123. Those are messages about how change starts with you, which really, really works well with the energy of justice. But there's also a message with 123 about how change starts with you. 321 could also be significant for someone. Maybe there's something significant about the past, the future, learning how to stay present, to not, dwell on the past and worry about the future. And I just saw, I looked right at the clock when it said 11 minutes. So remember that you deserve justice too. Not only, outside of you, but also from within. You deserve peace, fairness, clarity, wisdom. You deserve to learn from the past so you can be more focused on what's happening now to ultimately create a better, more productive, more peaceful, happier future. This search for truth that this card says is really, really standing out, because I think it came out in a recent reading as well. So search for truth. I'm also feeling drawn to the bats on this card. They were significant in a recent reading, and I did try to look up what they meant, but I forgot what it meant. So if you do feel called to look up what bats could symbolize, I definitely encourage you to do that. And it's interesting, it says think through decisions, because I was just thinking about how, okay, well, that means that you need to slow down. And then I was reminded of literally the Four of Swords, the idea of rest. So don't rush into anything, and don't put too much on your plate. Put your needs first, your desires second. Because you, just like your younger self, deserve to be heard, to be taken care of. Maybe for somebody out there, this is your cue to, parent yourself. Fill that place, that space, that void that was supposed to be filled when you were younger. Balance is a huge theme here. So really prioritize fairness, whether it's on the inside or on the outside. I'm going to start finishing up this reading by drawing out a card from this box of cards, which are cards that I made myself, if you didn't already know. Wow, that's very telling. This says, be honest with yourself. Yeah, there's a much stronger energy about bringing justice to yourself through finding peace, healing, gaining wisdom, than there is seeking justice outside of you. And I want to believe that's because, I'm picking up on, magician energy right now, manifestation. That's because if that fairness, that justice it already exists within you, naturally, you will attract just and fair situations. And that's not to say that you won't ever not experience injustice. That's just to say that you will be equipped to protect yourself from, either, getting yourself out of unjust situations or just avoiding them altogether. I think it's important to bring yourself justice because you deserve to protect yourself. And like I've been saying, to put yourself first. So, yeah, definitely be honest with yourself, especially if you're trying to heal. You know, it's lying to yourself in the first place that has caused you so much pain. And that doesn't make you a bad person. We all do it, you know, because it can be really hard to cope sometimes with some, you know, injustices that we face, especially if it's with family or just more personal relationships or situations. So that could also be a sign for you to seek out healthy coping mechanisms that are not only like productive, but also get all this pent up energy, anxiety, sadness, anger, fear outside of you. Now I'm getting a vision of the Ace of Cups. Don't bottle up how you feel. Be honest with yourself about how you feel, and don't be hard on yourself for feeling a certain type of way, because you're human and that feeling is going to be there whether you like it or not. So you might as well embrace it and work through it and take advantage of it in the form of wisdom that you can put into action and potentially even make a difference if that's what you feel called to do. Which actually makes a lot of sense. If you do, I just saw 1616, which the way that I look at that is the master number 77. And then 77, that's 14, and then 5. So again, embrace change, embrace wisdom. And I thought it was interesting talking about making a difference, because if you really, really want to seek justice outside of yourself or for others, or to make a difference, you know, you first have to do that for yourself. Make a difference in your own life first, and then worry about that outside of you once you've gotten yourself, you know, to the other side. You know, the grass is greener on the other side, like they say. And I just saw 654, so I feel like there's a last message there to just remember to trust that everything happens for a reason, because I think trusting that is going to make it so much easier for you to actually focus on what your pain, your healing, your purpose means.